Jill. How are you?
Good, how are you?
All right.
Hey.
Coach, we'll take you later.
Oh, so I'm not in here. Sorry.
That's okay. Joining us from Syracuse, student athletes Deasia Fair and Georgia Woolley. Reminder to please silence your cell phones. Wait for the microphone, state your name and affiliation before each question. First question. We'll go right up front here to Pat.
Pat Edenrob with the Associated Press. You guys didn't find out who you were playing until last night. Can you talk about what that means in terms of preparation, and is it a good thing to be able to watch them last night, or was it a bad thing in that you didn't know who you were playing until today?
I think it was neither good or bad. I think, it's March. You never know kind of who you're going to play until, a day or two before, especially once you make the run. So I don't think it was a good or bad thing.
Just a reminder, recording press conferences on cell phones and cameras is prohibited. Next question. Right here. We'll go to Alexa on the left. They're coming.
Alexa Philippou, ESPN. For either or both of you, what have been the major focuses in practice just coming off the ACC tournament and it kind of ending earlier than you all would have hoped?
I'd say just getting locked into who we are. We know who we are as a team, and coming off the ACC tournament, not the result that we wanted. So just getting locked back into those things and getting better at them in practice leading into this tournament.
Can you follow up?
Absolutely.
Can you elaborate on what that is for you all?
Yeah, so we pride ourselves on a lot of different things. Like, we want to be better on the boards, strong on the boards, boxing out, rebounding, running, things like that. So these practices, we've been going really hard, just getting prepared for those things and getting back to the team that we know who we are. And I think we lost that for a second there, but we're back.
Question here on the right.
Chris Carlson from the Syracuse Post-Standard. JJ, I guess just what were your sort of first impressions watching Arizona, and what do they sort of do well?
They're going to be really scrappy, They're hungry, and they're a team that's never going to give up. And I think that they're a good team, of course. There's no disrespect there, but we're also a good team as well. And, we're going to prepare properly and be ready for tomorrow.
For our viewers on Zoom, if you have a question, please use the hand raise feature. Any questions here? Go ahead.
Deasia, this isn't your first go-around in the NCAA tournament. Obviously, you played it with Buffalo, but experience now with Syracuse in your last go-around. What's this moment been like now for you?
I've just been able to, be where my feet are, not take it for granted. It's been a long run for me, and here I am in my last one, and I haven't really tried to, get on the emotional side of it, but I'm just locked into what this team and this staff wants out of me, and I'm just locked in.
Question on the left here, third row.
Justin Gershon, the Daily Orange. Georgia, obviously this is Deasia's final run with the team. What can you guys do as secondary scorers to really support her, and what areas of Arizona's defense are you guys looking to exploit?
I think just as secondary scorers, just being ready, just playing who we are. It's not necessarily secondary this, that, the other, but doing what we've done all season. Deasia knows where we're going to be. We know where Deasia's going to be. Just playing together and knowing our roles, and I think that's what's going to break down what you said, the Arizona defense. Just knowing our roles and executing that.
Right here on the left on the aisle.
Josh Crawford, 247. Deasia, as the best player on this team, one of the best players in women's college basketball right now, like somebody alluded to earlier, the early bounce from the ACC tournament, from your perspective, what does this team look like at its best when it's at an optimal form?
When we're playing free and, doing what we do best and within ourselves, like Georgia said, knowing our roles, knowing what we're good at, and when we do that and not worry about, the score or any mistakes that we make along the way, that's when we're our best.
Question up front, Pat.
For both you guys, obviously your school used to play here all the time, but has not in a long time. Can you guys talk a little bit about what it's like being able to, A, stay in the Northeast for the first 2 rounds, and then B, what it was like walking into this arena and kind of looking up and seeing all the banners and knowing what you guys are going after and what that kind of meant to you?
I can't lie, I don't really know the history really behind Syracuse and UConn, but I did notice that, they've played here quite a bit. But, being in a, arena like UConn's and, knowing their history and to see that we get to, play against and compete against the best shows a lot about who we are and what this program has become. And I think that, again, we're able to compete, and seeing that we're here, that is kind of a confidence booster to help us get ready for the games.
Question on the left, Alexa.
Deja, I know you still have games ahead of you. Have you thought at all, though, about just your place in helping bring Syracuse back and being able to start this next chapter for the program and add to that history and doing it with Coach and what that all has meant to you? I know it's still in the middle of the season, but have you been able to reflect on that at all?
I try not to, get too caught up in certain things, but of course, you always want to come into a program and make an impact. And I think that I am an impact player for any program, but to be a part of, Syracuse, which is, right down the street from where I'm from, is another thing to, look back at. But I haven't really tried to reflect on it yet because, we're not finished. But looking at it a little bit right now, it's kind of something special.
Question on the left here.
Deja, can you talk to me a little bit about just you and the relationship that Coach Jack have, considering some of the things that she's went through this year, and just the amount of time that y'all spend together, and kind of grown together?
It's funny. Every question I've been, getting lately has been that, but she's like my best friend. Over time, it's like my best friend and mom away from home for sure. And coming with her from Buffalo to Syracuse was one of the best decisions I probably made in my career. And with that, I think it speaks volume on our relationship, the things that we've overcome, the things that, you guys will never know about that we've gone through. It's just something that's, help our relationship grow and get us where we are and be able to fight through adversity and things like that and, get over humps and bumps throughout the journey. Just does nothing but build what you have and build what you're trying to have and create. But our relationship and the bond that I have with her is, unmatched, and I know that it'll never be like anyone else's with anyone else.
Question on the right here.
Georgia, you've watched that relationship sort of grow up close and sort of maybe seen how special it is. I guess, right, and you have your own relationship with Felicia. How unique is the one that you see between, her and Deja, and what's special about it?
Yeah, it's special. When I came into college, I was a freshman, Deja was a junior, and that's sort of the relationships you see when you're being recruited, and it speaks a lot to who Coach Jack is as a coach and as a person, and that's something that you want to be involved in with a program. So seeing the relationship that she has with her players and student athletes, I saw that with Stephanie Reed when I met her in Australia. It's the things that you look for in a coach and a person, and that's what really made me want to play for Coach Jack. And I've only seen that relationship develop 10 times more, especially when Deja came to Syracuse. And I think it just says a lot as to who they both are as people and players and people. Yeah, and coaches. Yeah. Yeah.
Question on the left.
Georgia and Deja, obviously you've been in NCAA tournament with Buffalo, and now you guys are veterans here at Syracuse. What did you guys sort of learn from that experience a couple years ago? And as veterans on this team, how are you guiding your team, towards a unique situation that most people have never been in before?
Yeah, so obviously we've been in this stage before, so we've learned a lot from that. And then I think just having that experience, we can share that with our teammates and bring that into the games following in the next few days.
Time for one more. All right, ladies, thank you. You sure? You sure? Yeah. All right. Ladies, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Two minutes. 1 minute. Reminder, the Syracuse locker room is open until 1 o'clock. Coach, we're ready for you. Come on in, Coach. Thank you.
Oh, no, I'm good, thanks.
Joined by Syracuse head coach Felicia Leggett-Jack. We'll begin with an opening statement, and then we'll open it up for questions. Coach, how you doing? Do you have an opening statement? We can go right to questions.
I'm just excited about being back here and with my alma mater in postseason. This is something that, when we first got to Syracuse, Jake Krauthamel, the AD at the time, who helped create the Big East, this is what he said that we were all about. We were about postseason, and everybody from the janitor to the secretary to the president, the chancellor of the university understood that assignment. And to be able to honor that by building this thing as quickly as we did to be a postseason team, it's a shout out to the person who created the Big East, and that is Mr. Jake Krauthamel and all the people that's been able to help us grow this program at this incredible level. We have a big task ahead of us, and our goal is to, we certainly want to win, but ultimately we want to make people that really love this Syracuse place, we hope to make them very proud.
Questions on the left.
Cooper Andrews with the Daily Orange. Coach DeAsia was just up here talking about the emphasis of playing freely going into the tournament. How have you guys kind of learned from what happened at the ACC tournament to kind of get back to that level of playing as free as you were in the best stretches of the season?
I just think that as every day you win and you learn, and we certainly learned that we have to start better. Last year we learned that we had to end better. We were a terrible fourth quarter team, and the last few games we haven't been the best first quarter team, and so we have been in our practices doing drills where the goal has got to be reached, and if you don't reach the goal, you got to run, and so we kind of Pavlov's dog that last few practices, if you will, to get us starting a little bit better, but also ending better as well, keeping that forte as well as I meant. So I'm excited about what we've been through for the last 4 or 5 days. I'm glad that they had some time off. We were the last team standing, if you will. We went 18 games straight without a break, and as a new coach, you don't really understand, like, how do you get a break? You have to bid. I didn't know anything about that. So for 2 years in a row, I'm like, why we keep not having a break until the last weekend? Well, I finally had an aha moment that I got asked for it. So we're continuously learning. We're continuously growing. And I tell our players all the time, they're going to continue to learn and grow, but they're going to see it very clearly from their coach, because there's going to be a lot of mistakes I'm going to make as well. And if I'm what we call a phenomenal woman and I can make mistakes, it's okay for our players to go out there and play free and ultimately make mistakes, but learn from those mistakes and don't make that same mistake again.
We'll stay on the left right here.
Coach, obviously from the time you got to Syracuse, the goal has been to win, and you want to build a championship, as you've said multiple times throughout this season. What does it sort of mean to you to have these players in this position in your second year with the program, and what does it say about the culture that you guys are building here at Syracuse?
Our culture is character is always going to be first. Academics is always going to be second. And then basketball, I think that we have some great coaches and great players, and we think that together we can kind of grow basketball as well. But it's important that we keep the character in place. And, as an older coach, my 35th year, I just really think it's important that we help young people become, not necessarily win, not necessarily, for Syracuse, but ultimately for these young ladies to grow into a phenomenal woman when their brain is fully developed at 25, to know that they can caretake a home, be the breadwinner of their families, and for the next 70-plus years of their lives, they can ultimately lead if they have to. That's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to help young people grow into young women, to phenomenal women, to be the breadwinners of their families. And if we can win some games, great. I'm a coach that really think that you win when kids, like DeAsia become young ladies, and young women like Georgia, and they get it, and the lights come on. And for us to get this situation where we are right now to win, and also get the character and still have 8 kids on the ACC all-academic team, that's a testament to our faith, our God, our players, and our coaches.
We'll stay in that same row.
Coach Jack, you all have thrived this year on like underdog mentality, being picked towards the back of the ACC. But bracket come out, you're a 6 seed. It's kind of hard to fight that underdog mentality with that. So how have you maintained that their team versus our family mindset, being a favorite team for this first game?
Well, you just got to get interviewed at Syracuse, and you'll ultimately realize that we still have work to do. And the only questions I've been asked is about why we failed, why we were 1-3 in the last 4 games, not how we became 23-7. We weren't asked about how DeAsia has been nominated and elected to 3 All-American statuses. We weren't asked about why Georgia Woolley isn't on the all-defensive team. We weren't asked about Alyssa Latham and her prowess as a rookie, and her ability to shine, but fall short a little bit because she is a rookie, but then ultimately come back and do such a good job on a big stage. So when I'm asked questions, I'm an elephant. I listen and I don't forget, and I realize that there's a lot of work to do. People aren't believers of Syracuse women's basketball yet, and we will continue to grow this thing. And maybe they'll join us, but that's not our whole locker room mentality. Our locker room mentality is all we have is what we have, and what we have will be enough. That's in this locker room. And all we care about is at the end of the day, after the end of the game, at the end of the practice, if you can look in the mirror and give it your 100, that you gave it your best effort, you're a winner. And so this is how I know we have work to do from the questions that's been asked of me in the last few days.
We'll stay on the left. We'll go to Alexa.
Alexa Philpott, ESPN. Coach, is there anything about Arizona that really sticks out to you in terms of what threats they pose as an opponent? Is there any opponent that you all have played earlier this season that you see any similarities to in terms of trying to game plan and figure out how you can maybe exploit their weaknesses or get around their strengths?
They're the best defensive team out there. They defend from one baseline to the end, and they're relentless defensively. They got some great players, and one thing that I'm a mom, and I get emotional, and I get really emotional when I know who you are. So what we have a tendency of doing, no disrespect to anyone, is sharing numbers of what their jersey says so we won't get too attached. So that number 13, the young lady from their team, she is a thief. And anytime that she's around that ball, you better recognize that she's going to steal it. That's something we worry about because she's very, smooth with it. She doesn't give a lot of energy, but she has a moment when when you relax, she's going to take it. They got a great point guard, number 2, All-American, high school young lady who knows how to play on big stage. She's probably been playing on the big stage for 4 years in high school. So they got some great punches. They got 12 who can shoot the 3 and get inside the lane. So they got some bigs, 33 comes off the bench, 25 who's tough. I mean, they are a really well-tuned team who's been to a Final Four with the coach that they have right now. So we have our hands full, especially if we think about them. And what we're going to try to focus on is who we are and what we can bring. That defensively they're strong, but offensively we're pretty special too. So it's going to be the battle of who defends and who can push that ball and make that ball go in the hole.
Question up front from Pat.
Pat Eaton-Robb with the Associated Press. Coach, can you just talk about what it means to have this All-American leading this team and what she has done to help bring you and this team to where you wanted to be so early in your tenure?
You know, my coaches and I have been together for a long time. One of my coaches is back there, Kristen Sharkey. She actually played for me and has been my assistant for about 8-9 years. I don't even know the number after a while, but we made a pact when we went to Buffalo. We're going to find the kid that's under the rock, that has a story to tell, that really want to fight every day, that somebody see her. And when Coach Sharkey said this young lady named Deasia Fair is in Rochester, first I love Rochester because of what Sierra Dillard did for us on this stage. And we said if we can go back there and find somebody that's special, we're going to get her, or at least go and try. But when I went there with Coach Sharkey, we realized that we didn't have a lot of people look next to us. And nobody recruited her. I think we were the only Division I school that recruited her. But I knew her story, and I knew that she was the oldest of 4 children, and she had to help raise her siblings with her mother, who was a single mother. And she had to make certain they could go to class and get in school, and some days she didn't go because she was too tired getting them ready. And then we got her, we said, you have to be selfish because we need you to come in the front door of Buffalo, not the side door, the back door, and we're going to give you a special permit. You have to do the work. And she said, you're the first person that really saw me. And she believed in us because we believed in her. And she trusted us because we were putting trust in her. And from day one, she came out and she gave us her best effort. And it's a blessing. It's a God wink, in my opinion. And from what we've received from her is not even close to what, you see. This young lady is the most humble young lady you ever want to meet. And her academics, she took herself all above a 3.0 for the last 3 years. And she cares about the fabric of this team. And she kind of like her coach, too, a little bit. And that's something that you don't get because, when you're 18 to 22 years old, all you care about, why are you telling me what to do? She's always asking, what do you need me to do? And you don't find a lot of them, that rock is gone. And she sent me a text the other day. She said, hey, Coach Jack. I said, yes, D. And then she said, can I have this last dance? And of course, I'm just a baby. I cried and all that crazy stuff. And I said, of course, D, because she just really, really cares. And she knows how to push the button so that not that you get soft, but you can embrace what's happening. This is our last ride. Let's let it ride.
Stay on the right, Carl, second row.
Carl Adamek, Hearst, Connecticut Media. Coach, Lexi McNabb, we know what her parents did, Syracuse, her mom and dad, and you coached her mom, I believe, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But also her cousin won 2 national championships here at Connecticut. Can you just tell me, a little bit about Lexi and, what you've seen from her and how you hope she can contribute, maybe not this year, but so much more in the future?
Lexi is a Deasia Fair, in my opinion. I learned about her because I knew about her mom and dad. But when I went out and watched her in Phoenix, the same similarities. Not a lot of people recruited her. I was at Buffalo at the time, and I just saw her wanting somebody to see her for who she was. And when I started communicating with her, I noticed she never used her last name. I said, why don't you use your last name? She said, I just keep forgetting. No, you're not forgetting. You want your own identity. And I get that. And so we got her to come to Buffalo, and she committed to Buffalo. And then we got on this next stage. And it kind of made sense, but I needed to make sense for her story. And I knew that she wasn't going to play right away because of all the people that's in front of her. She has some work to do. And she still has some work to do. But one thing I noticed is that flickering of that light that comes on defensively against Deasia. She's up in the gym every day playing against Deasia. She's going to be a person that you see on that court because she really wants it now. The light is kind of, in her eyes, is on. It's still flickering in our capacity because we we're coaches and we're very honest coaches. But I really think that that bloodline that she has is going to reveal itself very soon. I'm excited about her future.
Stay on the right, third row, Vicky.
Vicki Fulkerson from the New London, Connecticut Day. Hey, Felicia, congratulations on your season. I was wondering, just as a veteran coach, like, what do you see from Paige Beckers that makes her so special, like, for the game?
Other than everything, that's too broad of an answer. Paige is special. She is. She can shoot it. She can rebound. She can make the pass. She can rally your team. She's a hard worker. She's the first one in, the last one to leave the gym. There's nothing short of. I just don't know why her name isn't being as visible as other names that's being talked about throughout the season. One thing that she has that's a little bit different is that she plays within a system of Gino Auriemma, who demands that everybody show up that's on that floor, and anybody on any given day could be great. The reason why I know, because he recruited me to Virginia. And so I just think that you don't see her greatness as much as you see the others, because she plays within an amazing system with a great coach who's growing her not as a basketball player only, but as a young lady who has to understand, even if you become the CEO of your corporation, you still have to have room at the top to share with others. And she does a great job of sharing that ball, sharing that light, and then every now and again she gets Big East Player of the Year.
We'll stay on the right, third row.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Coach Jack. During your wins over these big teams of Notre Dame, Louisville's, you guys were averaging 75, 76 points a game. You've kind of hit a lull, scoring in the 60s. When this team's playing at its best, what is it offensively, and how do you try not to get sped up against a team like Arizona?
We want the speed. That's where we're at our best, is when you speed us up and we're not thinking. I think the problem has been, if you notice, the people that played us and we lost, they sat back in the zone and player to player and allowed us to just kind of walk the ball up. And now we're thinking too much. We love each other. Georgia wants more success for Deasia, and Deasia wants more success for Elena. Elena wants it for Alyssa. And now we're overthinking the game. When you speed us up, we don't think, and we're pretty darn good. And so I'm looking forward to the speed of this game. I'm looking forward for us to go out there and play free and not think so much, and trust that no matter what I do, my teammates are going to believe that I'm doing this for the sanctity of this team. And I think that when we do that, we're shooting the ball 78 times a game. We're pretty special.
Do you think Izzy will play tomorrow?
Yes, he will.
Going to go all the way to the back on the right.
Andrew Del Piano, Citrus TV. Coach, you got a lot of love from Orange Nation in that send-off yesterday from the Mello Center. Just having a chance to play here for the university you played at, your alma mater, the place you're from, what does it mean to this program to have the chance to play on this stage?
We were here before, and we played when I was at University at Buffalo, and we got to the second game, and the crowd here is a veteran crowd that absolutely understand what women's basketball looks like, feels like, and the respect that the crowd has it cheers for everyone, cheers louder for Connecticut for sure, but I just really am so humbled by the crowd and the ability to play in front of people that understand women's basketball, and wherever that is in the world. And I was in Spain watching one of our players over there, and the respect that they had for the game and their profession, their maturity about women's basketball was just amazing. And I sense that about this crowd here and this place here. And the one thing that we want to show while we're here is that we respect them enough to give them our best effort. Our hope is that we show our best effort.
We have time for two more. We'll go on the left right here.
Coach, you talked about, speeding up and playing fast. Have you given any thought to, inserting Kennedy Perkins a little bit more, in some of those comebacks earlier in the season when she was bringing the ball up and Diaz just slid over to the two? You guys had a lot of success. So what would your thoughts be on that, potentially against Arizona and their stifling defense?
Well, we don't give anybody anything that don't earn it. And the last 4 days in practice, Kennedy has earned the right to be out there, and that helps us out a lot. But I think it's important that we teach lessons, even at the price of not making everybody happy. And I think that KP has really honored that and really gotten to the point where she's given such effort that, you know, when she got a little sick, and she wanted to practice to slow down so that she won't miss a minute. And so I'm hopeful that we have an opportunity to get her out there because she has earned the right to be out there. My hope is that we go out there and see her best effort.
Last question up front on the left, Alexa.
Coach, when you were talking about bringing Syracuse back to the postseason and even just considering the success you guys had in the ACC, is this the sort of timeline you envisioned that this team was capable of? Did they surprise you in any ways? How would you just kind of assess the speed with which you've been able to get Syracuse back to the spot, and if anything has kind of surprised you along the way?
I'm just one of those crazy coaches that believe winning is easy. It's the process that's hard. And sometimes when you go through the process, you're going to take a dive. And I think we took our dive, and I think that we've learned some lessons. And any day I can represent my community, you know, with this orange on my chest. Anytime I can represent our university with orange on my chest, anytime I can represent the athletic department here at Syracuse, I take it very seriously. And I never think it's too soon. Matter of fact, last year I thought that we should have been in the tournament. And I think this year there's 6 games to play. Why not us? Why not now? Our goal is to continue to learn the lessons through victory. Thank you guys so much for all you do for women's basketball.
Coach, thank you, and good luck tomorrow.
Appreciate you, sir.
As a reminder, Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us.